Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Eli, my pronouns are he, him, and I gained a lot of subscribers and a lot of views on a video I posted a few months ago where I unboxed my iPad 9th generation. Since then I've talked a lot about my iPad and what I can do with it and everything like that. It is currently March 8th and I just watched the new Apple event, so what I'm gonna do today is I'm going to recap it all for you guys, and I'm gonna try to make it like digestible for people that are not like techies. So I'm gonna make it understandable for everyone and talk a bit about what they said, what they released, and also I'm gonna talk a bit about if I'm going to buy the new iPad because they've released a new iPad. So let's just jump right into it. First of all, they just started off the event with announcing that there will be like a collaboration with Apple TV Plus, which is like a streaming service from Apple with Friday Night Baseball. So there are some baseball games on that streaming service. They said that 2 of the games would only be aired on Apple TV Plus. So if you are very into Friday Night Baseball, then maybe that is something for you. But if you don't like baseball, then you don't need to go get Apple TV Plus just for that. Quickly moving on to the iPhone. First of all, they released 2 finishes on the iPhone 13, both the Pro and like the regular. They were both green, they were both absolutely beautiful. Otherwise, there were no updates on the iPhone 13, so yet again, maybe not a reason to upgrade to a new iPhone just because of the color. But if you've been eyeing the iPhone 13, then you should know that there is now a new color and it's absolutely beautiful. I love green. Next thing they announced is a bit bigger. They announced an entirely new iPhone. It's the iPhone SE 2022 edition. If you've been in the Apple loop, you might know that there were 2 previous iPhone SEs. One that was released, I think 2016, I used to have that one actually, and then one that was released 2 years ago in 2020. The thing with the iPhone SEs is that Apple wants them to be like an entry-level iPhone, like a cheaper, or well, more affordable iPhone for people to start with maybe, or for someone to upgrade to. They said that this one is quite compact and of course more affordable than any other iPhone available on their site currently. It comes with the A15 Bionic chip, and here comes the talk that is a bit techie. But what that means is basically like the computer in the iPhone, it's just which version of that like computer, and the A15 chip is the same one that is in the iPhone 13. So to recap that, the iPhone SE 2022 edition has the same computer in it as the iPhone 13 that was released half a year ago, and that is obviously the newest high-end iPhone. So it's really cool that they released like the lowest priced iPhone with the same chip. And basically what that means, it's fast and powerful. But the iPhone SE, like with this specific chip, it does come with some things that weren't available in the 2020 version. So for example, it's compatible with live text. It is basically that you can have a camera and point it at like a street sign or something and then tap on the text and you can copy that or look it up or something. It can be really useful, but I personally haven't started using it that much yet. The iPhone SE comes in 3 colors, red, blue and white, and they were all really pretty. It does have a home button with the Touch ID, so it doesn't have Face ID as the newer iPhones have, but it does have the home button. If that is something you miss from the newer iPhones, then this is a great model for that. It also has a very strong glass both on the front and the back. I would still use a tempered glass screen protector, but each to their own. It has a longer battery life than a lot of previous models, and it also has what I call it a smart camera, and you can do like different effects and stuff inside the camera. One thing that was pretty cool is that it has 5G coverage, so you're able to surf on 5G with it. The iPhone SE 2022 edition will cost from $429 US, and you can pre-order it from this Friday, which is the 11th of March, and I think it will be available on the 18th, which is exactly a week later. So that is everything on the iPhone SE. There's obviously a lot more going into it, so if you're interested in it, and then you can watch that segment of Apple's presentation, and if you want more information. I personally think this is really cool. It's kind of like a high-end iPhone. It has a lot of things that the higher end iPhone has, but it's still compact, small and affordable, which I think is super good because iPhones tend to be a bit pricey otherwise. Next thing they talked about was the iPad Air 5th generation, and I will talk about that in a moment. I will just continue on with the other things they announced and then come back to that because I'm gonna talk a bit more about that from my experience. The next thing they announced is the M1 Ultra, which is basically another of those chips that they put inside computers to make it work and all the specs and stuff. As of now, there are 4 of Apple's own chips. Before these were released, they actually used other companies' chips inside their computers. But then they came out with the M1 chip, and there's also a M1 Pro and an M1 Max. And this is basically just how fast the computer is and how many tasks it can handle at once. And now they have added another chip, which is the M1 Ultra. From my understanding, they basically invented a new way to connect chips so they can make a bigger chip from 2 smaller chips, if that makes sense. And this new chip is so big and it has crazy specs. It's apparently so fast and has so much power. It's actually insane. And honestly, if you're not a techie, there is no reason for you to know this because it's not relevant for most people. Personally, I think the M1 or maybe the M1 Pro suits most people. With the M1 Ultra, they also released an entirely new computer, which I think is kind of interesting and really exciting, the Mac Studio. And it's designed for people that work a lot with their computers, maybe like who edit music or videos, and not just like YouTubers. We're talking bigger creatives. And yet again, this has crazy performance, like out of this world. It has lots of ports, which is really good because that's something that I lack with my computer. Now with this computer, there's 2 versions available, one with a bit smaller chip and one with like the new M1 Ultra chip. And the one with the smaller chip, which is the M1 Max, it starts at $19.99 US. So it's very expensive, and it's not a computer you just buy to just sit around and watch YouTube videos or like do school. But each to their own. If you want it, go buy it, of course. They also released a new display which can be used with this Mac Studio and also like basically every other Mac. In my opinion, it kind of looks like the latest iMac, you know, like the really thin ones. It's yet again crazy specs. It starts at $15.99, so very expensive yet again. Not something you buy to just like watch YouTube on if you don't have a lot of money. As a bonus, they also released new like accessories, if that makes sense. So like with a magic keyboard, magic mouse and magic trackpad. Now there's black, white and silver. Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about is the new iPad Air 5. I've been hyping for this for literally like a month. Since I saw the rumors that there was gonna be an iPad 5 on March 8th, I've been hyping this. From what I can tell, the iPad Air 5 looks pretty much like the iPad Air 4, but there's a few changes that I'm just gonna go over quickly. First of all, they changed the chip of the iPad. With the previous iPad Air, which is the 4th generation, which was released in 2020, has the A14 Bionic chip. That is the same chip that is in the iPhone 12, therefore it's the predecessor to the A15 Bionic, which we were talking about a bit earlier with the iPhone SE. But the new iPad Air now has the M1 chip, which is another chip we've talked about a bit now. That is Apple's own computer chip, and now that has also come to the iPad Air, which means it's very fast and it has really good performance. Another thing is that it has 5G support if you choose the cellular model. When you buy an iPad, you always get to choose either you want the just Wi-Fi model or the cellular and Wi-Fi model. And what that basically means is that the Wi-Fi model you can just use where you have Wi-Fi, but the cellular model you can use just as your phone that you use wherever you go. It still has a liquid retina display though, so there's not much that has changed to the display from what I understood, but the camera is updated and it's the same camera as they released in the iPad 9, and that is the same iPad that I currently have, and that camera is really good. This means they have also added center stage to the iPad Air, where you're like in a FaceTime call, then there's like a technology in the iPad that recognizes your face and makes sure that you are always in the center of the frame. Another thing I was really happy about is that they have used a lot of recycled materials for a lot of these new products, which makes me really happy. The new iPad Air comes in 5 colors, which is the space gray, which is a classic. It's beautiful. It also comes in, I think it's called Starlight, and it's a pretty new finish, but I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of like white goldy. Then it comes in a pink, a purple, and a new blue, which was also like, all the colors are so pretty. I'm a bit bummed they don't have the green in the new iPad Air, because I really liked the look of the green iPad. This iPad will start at $599 US. It is available for pre-order on this Friday, so again the 11th, and yet again it's available to get the 18th. And it's now time for what some people, I guess, are waiting for, and it is if I am going to buy the new iPad. And to that my answer is yes, most likely. Hear me out. Do I think you need to upgrade if you have like the iPad Air 4, or like me, the iPad 9, or any other iPad for that matter? No, you do not. You definitely do not need to upgrade to this iPad, especially if you have the iPad Air 4, because there's not a lot that is new. So why am I buying it? That is for the simple reason that I want to show you guys. I do have the iPad 9, it works really well and I love it. I want to try the iPad Air 5 out and see how it works, show you guys how it looks, the specs, the everything. Talk about it, talk about how I like it and what's different between the iPad 9 and the iPad Air 5 and everything like that, because that's basically half of my comment section, if people should get the iPad 9 or the iPad Air 4, or well, now I guess it's gonna be the iPad Air 5. So I want to give you guys an accurate representation, and also I'm very interested in this kind of stuff, so I really want to try it out and see how I like it. I know a lot of people swear by the iPad Air, so I want to see if it's worth it, and I just want to give you guys all of the information. Now, I have talked for almost 40 minutes straight about this. This video will not be 40 minutes because I have rambled a lot. But now it's time to edit this and get it up as soon as possible, because that's the YouTube grind. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and write in the comments down below what you are most excited for in this new lineup that Apple presented today. Also, stay tuned for more iPad videos because it is definitely coming, you know it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.